We've all heard it in movies, TV shows, or maybe even from a friend after something goes terribly wrong. Well, that's FUBAR. It sounds blunt, a little aggressive, definitely not polite. But what does FUBAR actually mean? Where did it come from? And how did a word that clearly isn't safe for family dinner conversations end up becoming a part of everyday language? Today, we're diving into the story behind one of the most colorful acronyms in modern slang. It's a word born in chaos, shaped by war, and carried into pop culture. And like many military expressions, its roots are darker and more human than you might expect. So, let's break it all down, right here, on History of Simple Things. FUBAR is an acronym that stands for Fouled Up Beyond All Recognition. That's the cleaned-up version. The original phrase uses a much stronger word in place of fouled, and yes, it's exactly the word you think it is. The meaning is straightforward. Something is so badly damaged, so disastrously mishandled, or so completely ruined that it can't be fixed or recognized anymore. It's not just broken, it's beyond repair, beyond logic, beyond hope. Unlike some slang terms that evolve into multiple meanings, FUBAR has stayed pretty consistent. Whether referring to equipment, a mission, a plan, or even a situation in everyday life, it always implies total dysfunction. But the real story isn't just what it means, it's where it came from. FUBAR originated during World War II, most commonly associated with American and Allied troops. Soldiers are known for creating slang, sometimes dark, sometimes humorous, as a coping mechanism. War is chaotic, it's stressful, it's traumatic. Language becomes a pressure valve. By the early 1940s, FUBAR had become part of U.S. military slang. Soldiers used it to describe broken equipment, failed missions, disastrous supply drops, or even strategic blunders. If a Jeep wouldn't start in the middle of nowhere, FUBAR. If a communication line failed during combat, FUBAR. If orders from higher command made no sense, definitely FUBAR. Interestingly, FUBAR wasn't alone. It belonged to a whole family of wartime acronyms. There was SNAFU, situation normal, all fouled up, and TARFU, things are really fouled up. These weren't just jokes. They reflected the real frustration and absurdity soldiers often felt on the ground. What's important is that FUBAR wasn't official military terminology. You wouldn't see it in formal reports. It was barracks language, trench humor, shared between soldiers who needed a way to express just how bad things had gotten. Military environments are perfect breeding grounds for acronyms. Communication needs to be fast, efficient, memorable, and during wartime, emotions run high. But there's something else happening psychologically. When you're dealing with danger daily, humor, especially dark humor, becomes survival fuel. Turning disaster into a four-letter acronym makes it easier to swallow. It creates distance. It gives soldiers a sense of control, even if just verbally. During World War II, millions of American troops were deployed overseas. When they returned home after 1945, they didn't leave their language behind. Words like FUBAR came back with them, slowly seeping into civilian vocabulary. At first, it remained mostly within veteran circles, but over time it escaped into broader American slang. Like many military expressions, FUBAR gained wider exposure through film and television. War movies often aim for authenticity, and screenwriters frequently use real military slang to give dialogue credibility. One notable example is the 1998 war film Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film is known for its realistic portrayal of combat during World War II, and military slang plays a part in that authenticity. Although not every acronym is shouted directly, the culture of wartime language, FUBAR included, became widely recognized through movies like this. Later on, FUBAR appeared in various TV shows, comedies, and even modern military dramas. By the late 20th century, the acronym had largely lost its strictly wartime association. It became a general expression for any situation that's gone completely off the rails. And as language often does, it softened slightly. Some people use the cleaned-up version, others keep the original. Either way, the tone is familiar. Total disaster. FUBAR is recognized in major English dictionaries as slang, with origins traced back to U.S. military usage in the 1940s. Linguists generally agree on its World War II roots, though exact first usage is difficult to pinpoint because it began as spoken slang among soldiers. There's no evidence that FUBAR existed before World War II in written records. Its earliest documented appearances date to the mid-1940s, shortly after or during the war years. That aligns with the timeline of American troop deployment. Importantly, it was never an official acronym used in formal military documents. It was, and still is, informal slang. That distinction matters because sometimes people assume it was some kind of official code. It wasn't. It was soldiers talking like soldiers. So why has FUBAR lasted more than 80 years? Because it fills a very specific emotional need. There are plenty of words for broken or messed up, but FUBAR carries weight. It suggests something so completely beyond repair that ordinary language doesn't quite capture it. It's blunt, it's expressive, and it carries a bit of history every time it's used. In modern times, you'll hear it in workplaces, online forums, tech discussions, and casual conversation. A failed software update? FUBAR. A renovation project gone wrong? FUBAR. A plan that collapses in spectacular fashion? You guessed it. But underneath that casual usage is a reminder of its origins, a word born in the stress and uncertainty of global war. FUBAR might sound like just another edgy slang term, but its roots tell a deeper story. It emerged from the lived experiences of soldiers during World War II, shaped by frustration, fear, and dark humor. It wasn't created in comfort, it was forged in chaos. Over time, it traveled from foxholes to film screens, from barracks to boardrooms. Its meaning hasn't changed much, but its context has softened. Today, most people use it casually, often without realizing it carries decades of history behind it. And maybe that's what makes language fascinating. Even a rough acronym like FUBAR can act as a time capsule, a small linguistic souvenir from one of the most turbulent periods in modern history. So the next time someone says, "Well, that's FUBAR," you'll know it's not just slang. It's a piece of wartime culture that somehow survived long after the war ended. And that's the history of a simple word. That's anything but simple. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.